And this is John Z, aka Reverend Z, and I'm here with a friend of mine who we're going to call Anonymous.
We'll go with no name. I think no name's a little better.
No name, no name.
Yeah. See, it's not that I'm trying to hide who I am or anything, but apparently we're going to talk about some pretty deep subject material matter today, and a lot of times people get caught up in the messenger instead of the message. And what I want to talk about supersedes any sort of individual. It's more of the collective is what we're going to be speaking on today, I believe.
Point well taken, point well spoken, because when you get right down to it, we are our essence, each one of us, a divine being of creation, a divine light of creation, and we are not unique at our core because we are all identical spiritual entities that come directly from the source.
We definitely have a something that's in us that's more connected than we like to believe. I mean, we're taught very much to be separate and segregated in this world, and our individuality is what we think helps us get along in this world. But it's really our collective that helps us get through. And it's the idea of trying to break down that separation and that segregation and getting to the point where we realize, yeah, we do have individual nuances that makes us unique and different, but we do also have this connection, this what some call it spirit, some call it source, some call it the greater being, whatever you want to label as the outer force that we are all a part of. And so it's almost like that source is having reflections upon itself, and we're individual thoughts of that source, and we have our own little ways of doing things, but we still have something more that we're a part of and we are connected to, that the majority of us, myself included for many years, was blind to, wasn't paying attention to. It's even when they use that saying, we're mind, body, and spirit. Even when people are trying to get into the idea of having some sort of spirit, something grander than us, they always put the spirit last, and that's much more of the conditioning. The spirit is what we are. We're spiritual beings having human experiences. I don't know who said that, but that's a very beautiful quote that I've always liked. And so we get caught up in the third dimension, the flesh, the blood, the what we can see and what we can touch, and we neglect and do not pay attention to the true essence and the core of us, the larger collective spirit that we are. Once you realize that you're something bigger to yourself than what you think your individual is, once you realize there is something bigger to you, it makes a lot of this stuff down here seem a little bit more, you start seeing through the BS a little bit more. You start understanding that a lot of things that we're worried about and thinking about, what we're chasing isn't the dreams we need to be chasing. We're forgetting and not realizing that there's more to this than a job. There's more to this than getting money. There's more to this than paying your mortgage and having a nice house. We're talking connection with the earth, the universe, the cosmos, the source, the large, grander picture that's not even touched on by the majority of people.
And we shared a conversation recently, and we must have spoke for over an hour, and it was just such a powerful, inspirational conversation that we had. And that's what we're talking about, getting closer to the source. Now, and a lot of people are going to become apprehensive to think that we're new agey type of guys, but I think where we're coming from is from a spiritual standpoint. Now, the Creator created humans, and humans created religion, and then that's where we get into trouble with religion. And as I have said recently, if you take the money, when you take the hunger for money and power out of religion, you're left with spirituality. Now, that's what I want to remind people is we all come from the same place, and we're all returning to the same place, and we need to recognize that, and that's why we all need to do more to make this world as heaven-like as we can. If that's indeed where we hope to go someday, we need to do more to take care of each other. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience, and these physical bodies that we're living within, they lead us into all kinds of troubles, inner and outer turmoils, and just all kinds of problems. But that's just part of the I guess the quest or the game that we are subjected to in this experience that we're having down here on planet Earth.
Most religions try to make it as this is our divine creator, this is our deity, this is our prophet, this is our preacher, this is our congregation, and this is the path you have to go to spirituality. No matter which one of the dogmas that you choose, it all has the basic same structure. And that structure is having you look to an outer force as for your answers. And the thing I'm trying to do with myself is start looking inward. Because everything we have within inside us is all the answers we're looking for. We're just not asking ourselves the right question. We're not pushing ourselves the right way. We're not bringing out the right things that we're looking for because we're so used to looking outward for the answers. You go to church on your Sundays or your Saturdays or whatever your day of holy worship is. You go there and somebody yells at you for an hour and a half telling you how it is. You get done with that, you go home and you turn on the TV and there's somebody telling you on the news how it is. And you listen to your politicians and here's somebody else telling you how it is. And you go to your schools or you go to your job and you got your bosses and your teachers and everybody's telling you how it is. But none of us are listening to ourselves to see how it is. And if we stop looking outward and continue to look inward, we'll start recognizing and working on these problems in this reality that we're in at this time. As you said earlier, we can make heaven on earth. The illusion is that we have to sacrifice our lives down here. We have to go through this hell and this torment down here. We have to go through this horrible system that we're a part of. And if we give up this precious life and be very subservient, we'll get our reward at some other place and some other time. We can't see that place, we can't see that time, but that reward's there, so give up our life. I'm looking to take advantage of the life and the time and the blessing that I've been given here and looking to make things better not only for myself but for others around us. And that's what we need to be doing. Instead of looking outward, look inward amongst the species and amongst ourselves and saying, all right, here's what we need to do to fix our problems. The problems we have of scarcity, the problems we have of war, of famine and disease, those are problems that do not have to exist. Those are problems that we create, and our complacency allows them to continue on a daily basis. But all of those problems can be easily eradicated if we change the system and change the mindset that we are a part of. And that's the problem. I mean, even some of these religions preach that there'll become a time when man will believe he's gods and he can create heaven on earth, and he'll think that he has some sort of more power, this and that, than the Creator. And it amazes me that it's even written things like that to say that we have to suffer. I mean, I think we've got the suffering thing down in this world. We've been suffering on this planet since, as far as I can look back with the history they've given us, it has been nothing but suffering. We've got that part down. Why don't we try to do something a little different? Why don't we start focusing on realizing that we can have abundance in this world? We can have peace in this world. We don't need these illusions of borders that are keeping the species separate to somehow think that we're different than a guy that's 200 miles away from me just because he's born on a different piece of land, that he's somehow different. We are a species. This is a beautiful planet. There is a beautiful species. We've just been distracted and kept from our true self. And I believe when that connection happens, when we do come together and get past this segregation and separation, that's when you're going to see this utopia develop. It's so strange to me when I talk to people about ideas about having everybody having food, about everybody having shelter, about everybody having medical care, about everybody having, peace, liberty, life pursuit. You would think that I was talking to them about evil, horrible, oh, that's never happened. We can't do that. We have to have war. The war is here because this and this and this. You're sitting here and arguing with me that war needs to exist. It does not need to exist. We are allowing whatever the running force is that out there that is pulling our strings, we are allowing them carte blanche to be able to do this horrible evil. You know what I mean? Peace. Mm-hmm. Hunger. Hunger does not need to be there. We have the technology, the capability to grow. We throw away more food in America every single day than people go out without. There is no reason why people shouldn't be able to eat. We have plenty of food. But this greed, this profit system, this whatever else is going on is somehow making it seem that they're not worthy of having food because they don't have pieces of paper in their hand. What?
Yeah, money.
Yeah, you don't have money, so you're somehow not allowed to have the common things that should be just an inalienable right to any of us. Mm-hmm. It's a horrible atrocity system that has somehow been turned into the norm. Every species on this planet is worried about self-preservation. We want to make sure that we have ourselves taken care of. Okay? And so the system that we live in now is somehow giving us the illusion that this is a system that is keeping us going. And so when you talk about going against the system with other people, you're going against, subconsciously to them, their self-preservation mechanism. And so they fire back at you and fire at you like you're trying to take food out of their mouth. I'm not trying to take food out of anybody's mouth. I'm trying to put food in everybody's mouth. It's just silly. It's just silly. We are so conditioned to believe that this evil atrocities that are happening on this planet is what's supposed to happen, that we allow it to happen. We don't stand up. We don't say anything. We keep going to our jobs. We keep going to our churches. We keep going to our schools. And meanwhile, thousands and thousands of children die every day because they don't have the common needs met. Mm-hmm. All these churches, all these religions on this world, but yet we have millions dying every day. Where's the spirituality that's reaching out? It's not. They're filling their fat coffers of their churches and not worrying about the common folk.
Let me just say this. As far as the Western world is concerned, religion has become corrupted to the point where we are no longer functioning doing what is our essential purpose. If you want to go into the Bible, the one time that Jesus became physically violent in Matthew 21:12 is when he went into the temple and saw the moneylenders in there. He started overturning the tables, and he pretty much lost his cool. Mm-hmm. And that's what has happened to the major religions. To organize religion is it's all become a game of collecting revenue. And any other essential purpose has been pretty much dismissed or forgotten about. Jesus was, for a large period of time, I believe he was homeless. He never built a church. I believe he went out and he spent time with the common people. One of his friends was a prostitute. He didn't have the need to generate money to create a powerful church. The message was all that he needed. He healed the sick. He fed the hungry, and he did this with no money. And it's like, I believe that we, each of us, and collectively certainly have the resources to help people in our community. We certainly have the monetary resources. The money that we're giving to these churches to build the big giant mega church with the giant steeple. Well, their steeple's a little bigger now. Let's get a bigger steeple.
Right.
And all the money is funneled into these churches, but the money could be used to help people in the community. And there are churches, okay? There are a few that I'm aware of, and I do a little research that are actually doing things in the community to help people, hungry people, women and children that are victims of domestic abuse. And I truly appreciate that. I believe that is what the church's job is. I believe that's what the church should be doing. In the memberships, they believe that they're supposed to go to church, put in their 10% tithe, sing some songs, and then they can go home, and that's their duty. But our duty is to help people in the community that are in need, to help people around us that are in need. And more, just as important as the money, which should be going to the people in need, but we don't take the time to go out and reach the people in need in our community, people that are hurting. When you're born, when you come into this world, you've got a mission and a duty. And your mission, I believe, is whatever you want it to be. But your duty is to help others. And there are so many people out there in need of help that are suffering. That some people that they just need a shoulder to lean on. They just need somebody to listen.
We've been conditioned very much in this world to be a service to self. I mean, we've all heard the statement that, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there, and you got to take care of yourself and look out for yourself because nobody else is going to do it. That is the environment that we are bred into, and that's the conditioning that we grow up with. And if we had that same type of conditioning and were bred into a world that was not service to self, but service to community, all these problems that we talk about and have been going on for eons and eons of time would not exist. Because what we're taught to believe now, that the only thing that's going to happen for us is taking care of ourselves. Okay, but if it was truly that we were in a community where we were taking care of each other, you in turn would be taken care of because you are a part of that community. The more you give out as far as your charitable works, your good works, your kind works, your nice works, your thought-provoking works, whatever your calling, your passion is, that too you will receive. And so, I mean, instead of just working to take care of yourselves, work to take care of those around you. Work to take care of the community around you. And by you doing that, they're going to be doing the same thing for you. That's the world that we should be living in. That's a world that wouldn't have these ridiculous concepts of hunger, famine, poverty, and war. And a lot of these religions, you know, we talk about how they've lost track, or they go into a different path and they become more monetarily based than community based or charitable based or whatever it is. A lot of the doctrines that they're following, the books that they're following, are they've got some warped concepts from the start. I mean, these you look at any of the religious texts out there, they show this God as a warring God, as he made these famines happen in these lands, he made these atrocities happen, he allowed these atrocities to happen, and so they're coming from a basis in their mindset that because this book says that this is how it's been and this is what God does, this is how it has to be. But that simply isn't the case. When you get down and take your controlling oligarchies out of the way and just get down to the people in the core, we don't have to have these concepts. We don't have to have these realities of children not having enough to eat, because it just simply wouldn't exist. I mean, I just don't get the concept. I just don't get the idea that somehow we think it's okay, or there's some sort of justification for, I mean, the stats are like 3,000 kids worldwide die an hour from basic needs not being met. And that's our norm. That we're doing that every day, and that's somehow socially accepted. But the concepts of working towards a realistic goal of having, this abundance being taken care of to where we do all have, is somehow a foreign or utopian dream. It's not something that could be easily implemented. It's very hard, I think, to turn our backs and not do things right. But it's become the norm for us, and so the idea of doing anything in any different way just seems like it's so much work and such a struggle to get that way. But with a little effort, the struggle and work that we've been going through for these thousands of years, we'll just look. I mean, I heard somebody say one time that they talk about the Dark Ages back in the day when religion ruled the land and it was very oppressive. We're still in the Dark Ages. Okay, we still don't understand that we have the ability to change our world. We're still looking for outside help. We have not had that light flip on to take us into the new age, to take us into the light and love over abundance over dark and negativity, and abundance over scarcity. We have not made that switch yet. Enough of us haven't made that switch yet to where it just baffles me. I mean, I just really don't understand that the concepts of everybody having is so foreign to people now. And we have to take a step back from our teaching and step back from our dogmas and say, all right, I'm going to believe in whatever spirituality, I'm going to believe in whatever deity out there, but I'm still not going to let go or turn my back on what's going on in the reality I'm in. I can't become complacent. And we have to take that. We have to take those steps to start realizing that we're part of a bigger picture, realizing we are supposed to be stewards of the planet. We are supposed to take care of the planet. We are supposed to take care of each other, and we're not supposed to, people wonder why aliens don't ever show up here. They're like, man, I've been waiting for the aliens to show up forever. You take a step back and look down at the species that we are. I wouldn't want to show up down here. We eat everything. We kill everything off. We're warring with each other. We trash our home. We are absolute just bacteria on this planet.
Just a virus down here.
Yeah. What intelligent being would want to hang out with us?
Yeah.
We're going to turn them into a burger as soon as they show up. You know, hey, we're waiting for you guys. Put some barbecue sauce on them. Let's eat ET. You know, I mean, we haven't made that switch. And I believe that whether you call it aliens or spirits or whatever else is out there, I believe they're just waiting for us. We have this chance to connect with our spiritual brethren, our cosmic brethren, the universe and everything. They're waiting for us to make the step. We're still evolving and growing.
Right.
And we need to take the next steps and become adults in these spirits. We're spirits just waking up. We're little infants crying and throwing temper tantrums down here because we still don't understand where we are. Once we finally make that step and realize our duties down here, realize our spirit and what we are, that's when the grand union's going to happen. We're going to meet our galactic brothers, and we're going to have this utopia it's around the corner. We just gotta snap out of it.
I don't want people to think we're coming from like a crazy new agey kind of a perspective here, but I think the point is, and we both truly believe that we all, like I said, all humans came from one place, one source. And then we created numerous different religions, and currently now we have one that's and basically is at the same place that we were a couple thousand years ago, going out and converting people through any means necessary to that religion. But the truth of the matter is when you get right down to it, like say, every human being at his center, at his essence, is the same as every other human being. We have to reach down and connect with that divinity within ourselves. And I know that when we talk about differentiating one religion from another, we throw up walls. And walls prevent us from coming together. And so that's one thing that we need to stop doing is throwing up the walls. Like I said, when you take the pursuit of money and power out of religion, you get spirituality, and you get each human being a direct line from us to our Creator. And in the meantime, it's our duty to make life as joyous as it can be for all of us. It's hard. Life is a struggle, but we have to do our best to work through the pain and the hurt in our lives to get to our essence. So we can love ourselves, and then after we love ourselves, we can love others and accept love from others. We can take the love that the universe provides, and we can amplify that and radiate it out to everyone. We can be the best person we can be for ourselves and for our loved ones, our friends and families, and to everyone on the street.
We are taught to hate ourselves. We are taught to hate each other. And it comes from very small things up into grand things. But, anytime you turn on a television or you pick up a magazine, you're bombarded with advertisement about this is how life's supposed to be. You're supposed to look this way. You're supposed to react this way. This is how you're supposed to be. And it's something that's not the norm for us. We have these horrible self-illusions or self-delusions of our bodies and how bad they are. When in essence, I mean, no matter what shape, size, or dimension, or what, your arm's a little different length than the other arm, or whatever you perceive as being some sort of flaw or some sort of imperfection, is beautiful. It is a beautiful. I mean, you are the process of thousands of years of creation come together in this beautiful form and shape. And somehow we decide that, it's not right. I don't say the right things. I don't look the right way. And we're taught to hate ourselves on a daily basis. And if we have hate for ourselves, it's hard for that spirit to wake up and to be that grand thing because we're so busy wallowing in our negative selves, nitpicking ourselves and trying to find out, all the things that are bad about us. Okay, every one of us as individuals, we create our individual reality around us. We create how we're going to react to situations. We create where we're going to go, what we're going to do. But collectively, there is a collective conscious that we're not aware of, that we don't understand the power of. And as long as we keep being, the dog-eat-dog, worried about ourselves world, we won't bring this collective conscious together. The collective consciousness is what we're all connected to. It's all part of the source. When this species comes together and instead of fighting against each other, but truly comes together and works to make the community the best it can be, that's when the switch happens. That's when the light, prevails over the dark, the abundance prevails over the scarcity, and things we've been talking about, because this collective consciousness that we're not really tapping into. I mean, have you ever heard of the 100th monkey?
Yes.
Okay, the 100th monkey is basically 100 monkeys on an island learn something, and then all of a sudden monkeys on the other side of the world knew it too, because they are all part of that collective consciousness of the species. Once we get enough of us believing and working towards this community over self, and work towards bringing us together, it's going to catch on, and that's when we'll come together. And we have to step back and start realizing that we are all in this together. Just because somebody is in India and has darker skin than a white guy in the United States doesn't mean those two things are any different. There is a minute amount of chemical element that makes their skin color different than another skin color, and we somehow perceive that as being a huge difference that makes us, not have to worry about their problems because they're different than us. We are all in this together. We are all part of this planet, and when we start working together, that's when we can bring this utopia to this planet that seems so far away. I mean, it's funny when you say something to people about, we have to have it bad. You have to have the negative, because if you didn't have the negative, you wouldn't appreciate the good things. Like, really? I mean, we have gone through such negative experiences. The species has evolved through so much negativity that I think we've learned the negative lessons. I will still appreciate good things when good things happen to me. I mean, that's something I'm gonna turn away. Like I almost picture like society back in the day before we had all this monetary system and these corrupt governments. And when we first started off on this planet, we had a beautiful way of life and everything was good. Everybody was eating, everybody had shelter, we were taking care of each other medicinally as we knew how. Like all of a sudden, this one guy, this is all good and such, but I don't know if we appreciate the good anymore. Everything's just too nice. We need to have some negative, bad things in there. And then that snowballed into this horrible, negative world that we live in. We can have it good. We can have the majority of the world being a very positive, beautiful place. There will still be, this earth has negativity to it as a norm. We have storms. We have the natural process of death that happens. We have things that happen to us in our individual lives and make us struggle to overcome just off of natural life. We don't need to have this giant system that's bringing the negative scale way over to where the pendulum is swung into just constant dark negative output. Let's swing the pendulum back. Let's get it to where it's 70% good and 30% bad, 80%, something to that effect. Right now, I don't know where that pendulum is. All we see is negativity and darkness around us, and we see so much negativity that we can't even see the good that's out there. We don't even realize how much charity and good work is happening on this thing because we're bombarded constantly with the negative. We need to understand that we have this momentum that's going. We are starting to go in a positive direction. I mean, even though the news leads with the bombing stories of every day that's happening and whatever war is going on, we are still at less war than we've ever been. We are still coming down, and we're starting to swing back in the other direction where these concepts that seem so foreign and new are eventually going to be the norm. We have to get past this system that is keeping us segregated, that is keeping us hating ourselves, that is keeping us in this negativity and not realizing that there is positivity on the planet. I mean, these things are out there. We just have to look for them right now. Soon it's going to be abundant and slapping us in the face how beautiful this is. Because that's what it is. We are part of a beautiful existence. I mean, just the common things that we lose sight of, going out and looking at the stars every night and the sunset and the beauty of a river and a lake falling, and there's so much beauty in the world, but we're caught up in this negative system that we're not appreciating the beauty. Mm-hmm. So let's take some of this negative down so we can appreciate the positive. Because what we've done now is we've had so much of the negative we don't even recognize the positive anymore. Let's switch it. Let's try it. Every day people start saying, you get up and you look at the mirror and you're like, oh, I hate how my hair looks. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate myself. Every day I get up and look at the mirror like, man, you are good looking today. How did you get so good looking today? And it's about how you perceive
positive reinforcement.
Right, and put it in. And eventually you start believing the lie.
Yes.
Because guess what? It's not a lie, it's the truth.
Yes.
You are a beautiful individual.
Yes.
It's the negative system that's out there that has made us think that somehow we're not beautiful.
Inadequate.
Yes, we are beautiful. We are amazing. Let's just realize it. Let's just be. Let's do what we're supposed to do, and let's stop fighting to stay in this negative pattern. Let's start giving a little effort into being in the positive. And once you start putting effort into something else, that effort becomes, as it becomes learned habits, that effort becomes easier and easier every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so what might seem like it's an impossible thing, an impossible goal to ask, it's because we're not even trying.
Yeah.
We're just accepting that this is how it is. Let's stop accepting. Let's start doing another way, and we'll get to where we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Despite the pratfalls and the system and everything, you can't stop the spiritual evolution that's happening.
Yes.
And it's going to happen.
But the truth of the matter is, things are better in many ways now than they've ever been. Right now, there's less famine in the world, less wars. As bad as it is out there, it's getting better. We have to thrive on this positive information, this positive awareness, this positive energy to keep this going. It took us quite a few years to get ourselves to the system that we found ourselves in, where we're basically mechanized robots getting up every morning and going through the motions of our day to make that money to survive. But our lives have greater meaning than that, and I think we've lost sight of what's most important. And I think, when you get right down to it, what's most important in this world are each other, human beings, and our relationship to other human beings, and trying to make life better for each other just by being there for each other and relating to each other. I remember it's like, when I started coming back from the darkness, and I was bathed in light for 2 days, and I was given a lot of wisdom and shown a lot of answers to questions I'd had in the past and for things that were going on in my life at the present. And it was just, I realized at that moment that everything in life is unimportant except for human beings. And this is like the beginning. This is where I start. I start by putting out the positive vibrations and the good attitude and the positive vibes, and then I move on from there. I get involved in my community service organizations, and things of that nature, and just work toward making it a better world, and not having the attitude that it's unfixable, which that's not true. Everything is fixable, okay? And the other thing, which is it's not going to get better till it gets worse. And there's, you hear talk about like people that are out there that want the world to get worse.
Oh, they're excited that this stuff is going on. Oh, the Famine of Wars are happening. It's in Revelations.
Yeah.
We're almost ready to go to heaven. This is awesome. It's just ridiculous. There is no justification. Any divine being that had a hand in playing in my creation, I don't see it as somebody that created us to go to war with each other. We're giving up the gift. We're foregoing the gift of life that we have down here. We have this planet has been here for billions of years. This universe, this cosmos, this system that we're truly a part of has been around for billions of years. This system that we're deceived by, that we're having the wool pull over our eyes, is not the system I'm referring to. This the grand bigger picture of the spirit, the universe, and the cosmos has been going on for millennium. And these few years that we have, that seems like a lifetime to us, is a snap. It's a nothing. We are blessed to be down here for a second in the stitch of time, and we're wasting it, believing in things that we don't know. We're wasting it in a hope that we're going to get something better somewhere else down the line, as long as we do what we're told here and stay in line here. And it's not that supposed to be. Everything in this universe has a purpose, or you refer to as a mission or a duty, okay? Mm-hmm. The bees on this planet, they pollinate everything, okay? You wouldn't eat 40%, 60% of the food that you eat today if it wasn't for the bees, okay? But they're just doing what they're doing. They don't even understand how important their job is to the rest of the universe. We have this job. When you walk into a room, you feel the vibe of who's ever in that room and the energy that they're giving off. You know if they're in a bad mood, you know if they're in a depressed mood, you know if they're in a happy mood, because they're giving off energy.
Okay, now the majority of us around here on this planet now are living in a pretty dark, negative energy. We're worried about our survival. We're worried about somebody coming to get us. We're worried about the end of the world. We're worried about all this stuff. Okay, so we're putting off this dark, negative vibe. Imagine if it was switched. Imagine if the majority of us down here were putting off this beautiful, positive, spiritual, loving vibe. Who knows what would turn and the universe would turn. Maybe that's our role. Maybe that's our duty, is we're supposed to get down here and get our vibe going and come into this collective consciousness, putting out this beautiful energy, positivity, rainbows, out of the skies, kind of, this vibe that we could change the universe into this utopia that we've been, only promised in the books in the afterlife. I mean, this is what we've lost. And we haven't lost. We have been blinded. We have been controlled, we have been manipulated, we have been taught to look at things in a negative, dark way. We are going through a period of change. We are learning secrets. We're learning the knowledge from the internet. We're learning more and passing more knowledge than we have ever shared as a collective consciousness before. Okay, so our eyes are being opened to things we never even thought of before, never even experienced before. We're seeing the scandals happen with the church. We're seeing our monetary system start to fall. We're seeing our militaries all around the world crumbling. People are leaving the military in good ways and bad ways. I mean, there's the soul's being pulled right now, and they're saying, okay, these things that I have been doing are wrong. I got to get away from this. And we're seeing all this stuff that's crumbling around us, and it's being projected as very negative and dark, but it could also be the crumbling as we're getting ready to rebuild this new and massive and beautiful way. And so the change, we're caught up in this very, we think our lives are so long. Okay, we think we're here for, whatever, 100 years or whatever it's going to be, and that's a long lifetime. But it's just like that, it's just a stitch in time. We have this instant mentality. We want the burrito out of the microwave in 60 seconds or less. I want food to mouth, boom, boom. I don't want to have to think about it. There is something going on. This period of change, this period of time that we're going through, who knows what steps it's going to take before it gets to the point it is. But the point is, it's happening. The change is here. The change is constant. We have to be able to adapt to this change, grow with this change, understand that every belief we have is going to be crumbled and shattered. Everything that we thought we knew is going to be completely different. This moment is the only thing that is real. Your past isn't real. Your past is gone. It's a memory. It's gone. Your future does not exist. As much as they want you to plan constantly for the future, go to school, go to college, go get your job, go worry about your 401k and retirement, none of that stuff's real. You get hit by a car tomorrow, and the only thing that was real was this moment that you wasted the day working on your future. This is the moment we need to take care of. This is when we need to realize who we are and what we are, and that this is the time for us to start taking advantage of this beautiful blessing that is this life that we have here, and making the best of it, and taking the moment and making it all it can be. The moments are what we're letting slide away because we're too wrapped up. Who we are, where we're going, what's going on. I mean, the way something happens in this world is you think about it, you talk about it, and then you act upon it. And it's hard to take things through that evolution of creation. More people are starting to take the action. More positivity is starting to happen. And so as long as the conversation keeps going, and as long as the action from the conversation keeps going, we're going to start making these moments better, not just for ourselves, but for the community that we are all a part of. No doctrine, no dogma, no Republican, no Democrat, no nothing. I'm a human being on planet Earth. That is the only thing I will categorize myself as at this point, because that's the only thing that I truly know. I believe I've got grand spirit. I believe I've got these other things, but I do know for sure that I'm here in this moment right now, and I need to do something to make this moment a little better, not only for myself, but for others around us. And it doesn't even have to be just religious doctrines that we get caught up in belief. I even have battled the scientific world. I mean, not majority or whoever, I'm not going to categorize, but some scientific people, they're completely agnostic, or they're atheists, and they want nothing to do with religion and spirituality, and they're all about the facts. And I don't know how many times scientific fact has been proven wrong over and over and over through history, but we still preach it as fact. There are no facts right now. Everything is changing and growing and developing and evolving. And what was fact yesterday is now turned into a hypothesis and theory today that can be easily proven wrong. I mean, when I grew up, they were teaching 9 planets in the school. That was it. That was scientific fact. There's 9 planets out there. This is what we're part of. And we now know that there's billions of planets out there. Mm-hmm. Okay? Our scientific fact changes every day. You have to be able to be adaptable and roll with the punches and be open and embracing change.
Yes.
What was that old say? The only constant in this world is change. The only variable is how you deal with that change. And so it doesn't matter what happens. I mean, Bigfoot could come riding up on a unicorn right now. I would not be too surprised. I'm open to whatever happens in this world, okay?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I want to thank you so very much, Mr. No Name.
KNOWNAME Productions.com.
There was a very...
free stupid videos on that website. No solicitations for donations or nothing. Just another outlet to put thoughts and discussion out.
Yes, and will we be getting back together to do more thoughtful discussions in the future? And if anyone wants to check out my page, ReverendZ.com, that's Reverend and the letter Z, and I'll be putting up a lot more information there as well some video sermons, and my tagline is don't send money. God doesn't need your money, neither do I. Let's keep the money out of it, and we'll keep it spiritual. And we'll be back again. No Name and Reverend Z, signing out.
See you in the 5th dimension.